Guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ademola Badmos. If this is your first time, please do not forget to like and subscribe. So in this video, we are going to go ahead and we are going to write our test. And the test is just going to be simple. I'm not going to be elaborate about it. I will just click on the daily prayer times so it can display the daily prayer times page for us. So having said that, let us first understand what we are expected to do. So I will go directly to the code. As you can see in the code, we still have this. I can shut this down. We've been able to verify. So I can shut this down and I can minimize the terminal now. So let us look at our device and see what we are supposed to do. So what we want to do is just click on daily prayer times. We'll click on daily prayer times, give it some time. I don't know why the emulator is this slow. And we have this. So which means we can open that. And so what we want to do is we're going to click on it and we're going to verify that we can see the daily prayer times displayed here. That's what we're going to try to do. Okay, so let us use the design pattern that has been created for us to try to do that quickly. So we don't need this page anymore. We don't need this folder opened anymore. So we get back to our E2E. So in the test folder where we've created our page object design pattern, we are just going to pick one of them. Let's use secure. Secure looks light. Yeah, secure is light. So we're going to remove everything inside secure page and we begin to put in the things that we need. So I'm going to remove this. And I think we do not, let's leave browser there. Let's leave browser there because browser presents some capabilities, some attributes that we would need for us, but the browser itself, we can't use it directly. We are not extending page. We are not going to use browser directly because browser only has, when it comes to mobile testing, browser does not really have a lot of capabilities. It only has few capabilities, and among them is it checks if it is mobile, so it doesn't really do much. So we're going to use something else. So because I want to check what we are doing, I will introduce assert here first. So let me say constant assert requires assert. Right, so I haven't done this. I can now continue to write what I need. So I'll say constant, and the variable I want to use is called button. So I'll do this driver. Now I can use commands like this because of all the setup I've done. I can use commands like this, and unlike what was in the old one, you cannot write Flutter by text, but now I can write that. So I can call what I need daily prayer. Oh, no wonder everything is running. I'll fix the issue now. I was just so eager to start writing tests. I've not created a method yet, so I'm going to create an async method. Click prayer times. I'm going to call it click prayer times button. Pardon me, I was so much in a hurry to get into the test, so I missed that. So I'm going to do this and put this here. So now, as I was explaining, I can now use commands like flutter by text, flutter by value keys, and all. Right, because of the flutter service I've called in, I'm able to use the flutter by service I've called in the config file here. Because of this, where is it? Yeah, because of this flutter by, I'm able to use commands such as that. So now that I've gotten that particular element, I want to verify if the element is actually correct. So I'll say strict equal if I get the text on the button itself. I get the text on the button. Yes, it should be equal to this same text, daily prayer times, right? So if this assertion is correct, I can go ahead and just click the button, right? And like I mentioned, because I use JavaScript, the thing is, from what I've studied about this Appium configuration, even in the previous configuration, it works well with it's naturally set up for TypeScript. So people use TypeScript a lot, but I like JavaScript and I'm used to it, so I use that. And I also want people that are like me to be comfortable doing it. So if you're going to use the TypeScript configuration, it's just a bit of different. There's just a little difference that you will need to um, take note of. Okay, so having said that, um, let's be sure. I think this actually returned an error. Let me be sure that we are on the right track. Let me be sure because it looks like it returned an error. I can see a red dot here. Oh, it didn't return an error. It was when I removed it. It was when I closed it. That was when it returned. Oh, so that makes sense. I was the one that shut it down. Okay. So now I want to verify the times page. So I'll say verify prayer times screen, right? And what do I need to do here? I just need to I'm not clicking anything. I can also get it by text here, so everything will be fine. Yeah, it's just by text. I can get it by text, so which means it makes things easy for me. I don't need to worry about the accessibility ID. I don't need to worry about the all other labels that are in the native applications, right? But one thing that is important to mention is if you're using a real device when it comes to iOS, you can't use the semantic label. It is something that's as at the time of this video is still being developed. So now that we have done this, let us use the test page to run what we need. So we get into the test page and what do? We remove all of this because we don't need it. So we just put in secure page and click prayer times button. So you can say my prayer app, right? I should be able to click prayer times, right? And I can also put this there and say I should be able to view prayer times, and this time around I would need the view prayer time screen. So with this we are good to go, and since we don't need the two above, we can remove them, and with this we are good to go. So as a measure of careful and thorough test, I will run my npm install again and ensure that everything I've installed are all working together. Remember that when I set up the project, there were some things that were installed and I also installed additional things. So I'm running an npm install to install from my package.json everything that has been installed before. So I'm going to go ahead and run npx. Remember, my WebDriver IO is not configured globally, so that's why I need an npx before it. So run, I'll say Android file, and with that we are ready to run our test. Let's give it a okay, so it's trying to run. So let's see what is going to happen. The emulator is on the side, and let's wait. And it has picked all the attributes, And from here we can see we are going to get some errors. It says browser object has capabilities and some flags, and well, not so sure. Looks like this is going to run. Fingers crossed. Oh, it's going to fail. It's already telling us that there is an unknown server error. Oh, it looks like it's going to start. This error is because of the emulator. The emulator is behaving funny. It has eventually launched the app. Now it's doing it, it has failed. So let us see why it failed. It failed because it says it's unable to load spec because we brought in browser. But browser brings in a lot of capabilities for us. So, oh, and let me just add in one more variable from a finder. So I'm going to say constant, although I won't use it for anything, but let's see if this would help us fix the error. Appium, yep, it will help us fix the error, but I don't really see it doing a lot. Let's see. Oh, we still have the error. Unable to load spec because browser is not fully initialized. But it is fully initialized. And we have our services specified. So it should work. But while we are waiting for that, let's troubleshoot what could be the problem. We'll check from our log here. This is fine. This is actually fine. We've done this properly. Let me format this. Yeah, everything looks fine. Right, everything looks fine. So what could be the problem? Let's look again. And this one looks fine. So let's just add one more command for this. The read timeouts. Let's add the read timeout to it and see if it will read it properly. So we change this from connection timeouts to read timeouts, which to me is just more than necessary. And oh, I'm the one that actually made the error. I think that's the problem. I wrote requires. I think that's where the problem first started from. If we look at the project properly, I will want to run this again and see. There's nothing like requires. I think that's the error from me. So let's see. You see, no errors anymore. So it was the error that I put there myself. So let's pick this again and see what happens this time. So as you can see, it is running this time around, and it opened that and it ran and verified everything. So that successfully brings us to the end of this video, right? So with this done, we are good to go. So which means you now know how to modify your videos and you know how to modify your Flutter mobile application, and you would not need to worry about this new integration because the old Flutter Appium Flutter Driver was deprecated. You can now use this one conveniently. So if you've gotten to the end of the video with me, please do not forget to like and subscribe. I haven't decided if I need to do the iOS part, because all you just need to do now is you don't even need to install it on the iOS. You just need to launch your simulator and run the command for iOS, which will be if you did not install your WebDriver IO globally, you will need to put an npx before you run the command. So you just npx wdio run your iOS config file and it will run.